Boy, do we have a lot to talk about. What's up, guys? Yesterday was just a crazy day, with the Comic-Con and all the trailers, the onslaught of trailers. I remember it was like, oh, we got a Justice League trailer. I got to talk about that. Oh, now we got a Wonder Woman trailer. I got to talk about that. Oh, now we got a Kong trailer. I got to talk about that. Oh my God, I'm going to have a nervous breakdown. So I decided, you know what? I'm just going to make one video and I'm just going to give my quick thoughts on everything that we saw. And I'm also going to throw in here my thoughts on the Batman v Superman Ultimate Cut because I've been getting a lot of requests from you guys for that. So I'm just going to hash it out and tell you what I think about that cut. And also I'm going to talk about the Blair Witch. It was supposed to be The Woods, but then that was another bombshell that dropped. It's actually the Blair Witch. It's a Blair Witch sequel, reboot, whatever. So anyway, here we go. Wait, first I need a drink. Okay, got my drink. Go ahead and get yours too. Pause this, get you a drink, so that way we can all just enjoy our beverage together. And before I get started, check that thing out right there. That is a Comic-Con convention exclusive, I believe from 2015, and it's a pencil artist action figure for Batman. And I actually have a Superman one on the way too, but my birthday was recently and my wife got me that, and I love it. It's gorgeous. Okay, first off, Justice League. I did not expect to get an actual trailer for Justice League. Now this isn't, your conventional trailer. It's not full of explosions and action and fighting. This is more of a setup trailer. But what's cool about it is we got to see Aquaman, we got to see the Flash, we got to see Batman going around and recruiting. It kind of reminded me of that scene in Expendables 3 when Stallone and Kelsey Grammer were going around and recruiting all these young douchebags for the Expendables, which was stupid. But Justice League is not stupid. This was really cool. And there was definitely a lighter air to this than what we got in Batman v Superman. And I'm thinking that's what's going to happen in Suicide Squad as well. DC is listening to fans and they're incorporating comedy into these movies. And I have nothing against that. But I don't want my Marvel dipping into my DC, if you know what I mean. I want these to be two separate entities. Comedy is fine. Marvel is more on the comedy side, I think. I do like that darker nature of the DC comics because Batman is a dark character. But I am so excited. I loved this trailer. It's exactly what we needed at this point. It's not the trailer we deserve. It's the trailer we needed right now. Is that the quote from The Dark Knight? I get that quote mixed up sometimes. It's probably not. Okay, on to Wonder Woman. I'm just gonna give some quick thoughts on this one. It looks really good. Gal Gadot was really awesome in Batman v Superman, even though it did feel shoehorned in, and even the music felt shoehorned in. That is her theme. And when you're in a movie for that small of amount of time, at least for the action scenes, then when you just plug in this really quick tribal music, it can throw you off a bit. But it seems like that music is gonna play throughout this movie. And I'm gonna admit, there haven't been that many great female-driven comic book movies. And this might be the first, honestly. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, but at the moment, I can't think of any great ones. Elektra was pretty bad. Catwoman is the worst comic book movie ever, in my mind. It seems like they just can't get this genre right. Oh, there was one good one, Barbed Wire with Pamela Anderson. Yeah. Okay, since we're talking about Justice League type stuff, let's go ahead and talk about that Batman v Superman Ultimate Cut. My expectations were at an all-time high just because of all the news I had heard about this cut from people that saw it, a few weeks before the Blu-ray. I waited for the Blu-ray. As a matter of fact, I picked up two of them. I picked up the Steelbook and I picked up the 3D edition because that freaking lenticular slip is just freaking gorgeous. But like I said, my expectations were a little blown out of proportion. So when I saw this, I still really like it. It is really good. A lot of the scenes are needed, especially the Lex Luthor scenes that flesh out a lot more of his intentions in this movie, in this whole grand scheme of things. And also the Africa scene, I thought was, it added much more meat to the plot as well. But overall, there were some scenes I thought that weren't necessarily needed, that were just kind of padding. So I think there is a quote-unquote best cut in there. I think 3 hours is still a little bit too long. And as many of you know, the theatrical cut is still my #1 movie of the year. So really, anything extra was just icing on the cake. I love it already. So will I go back and watch the theatrical cut? Yeah, I still will, because I think 2.5 hours is a good runtime. But will I go back and watch the ultimate cut again? Of course I will. I still think there's some great stuff in there to watch. Which is my better cut? I do think the ultimate cut is the end-all, be-all best cut. So yeah, there's your answer. That's my favorite cut of the movie. But I still enjoy the theatrical cut. Okay, next up we're gonna talk about the Skull Island trailer. I am a massive King Kong fan. I was introduced to the character in 1976 with the 76 King Kong with Jessica Lange. Had a huge crush on Jessica Lange. I think she might have been my first crush. I do think that's an underrated movie. Is it perfect? No, not at all. It's dated. It's definitely from the 70s, but I think the score is one of the most underrated scores for any big monster movie. It's kind of a haunting score. The 2005 Peter Jackson movie is definitely bloated. It has some good things about it, and it has some not so good things about it. I think there's a lot of things in that movie that could have been taken out. But the Empire State Building scene is still just gut-wrenching. But I prefer the Twin Towers scene in the 76 version. To me, that is the most gut-wrenching. I love that version. And I think Jessica Lange did such a great job in that movie. But Skull Island looks very promising. You got Tom Hiddleston, you got Brie Larson, who just got the part of Captain Marvel. Congratulations, Brie Larson. But the thing that everybody was the most curious about is, what is Kong gonna look like? Is he gonna be bigger? Because there's talk of a Kong versus Godzilla movie in the future. And when they show just a tiny little bit of Kong at the end, not even really his whole body, you just really see his face behind the fog, it gave me chills. It was badass. And correct me if I'm wrong, but he does look bigger. And I think they have to do that because of the scale between him and Godzilla in the future movie. And holy shit, will that be an awesome movie. And finally, let's talk about that bombshell, the Blair Witch. A couple months ago, there was a trailer for The Woods, directed by Adam Wingard, who's one of my favorite horror directors working today. He did Your Next and The Guest, which are two amazing movies. Just love both those. So when I heard that he was attached to a movie called The Woods, and I love horror movies that are set in the woods, I knew that this was just gonna be a home run. But then they announced that this is actually a Blair Witch sequel. I am a fan of the Blair Witch Project, the first one. I think to this day, it's one of the most effective marketing campaigns I've ever seen for a movie. When I went to see that movie in the theater, I still wasn't sure if it was real or not because I saw it really early on. And then I found out later that, yeah, this whole thing was made up. It sounds silly, but I wasn't alone. Most of the nation wasn't sure about this. They marketed it like it was a real event, like it was this lost tape, and then that they were releasing it. And for entertainment's sake, I think sometimes we want to believe things just because it's more entertaining. But yeah, I really enjoyed the first Blair Witch, and it's hard to emulate that. There have been countless found footage movies since, and only a handful of them have been effective. As a matter of fact, for Killer Flicks this next week, we just finished up Home Invasion Week, and this week we're actually going to do Found Footage Week. So definitely join my Killer Flicks page. There will be a link to that in the description. But I watched the trailer for this again, the new Comic-Con trailer, and it looks really, really good. It looks intense, it looks crazy. And from what the early reviews are saying, it's going to be one of the scariest movies, to come along in a while. So this could really be awesome. And also, just a final thought, when I watch the Blair Witch Project, I still watch it on VHS. Even though, I have Blu-ray and all that stuff, I think the best way to watch the Blair Witch Project is VHS. I really do. It's the crappiest quality, the source material is the crappiest quality footage that you can imagine. So why not watch it on the crappiest medium, VHS? And rest in peace, VHS. Just last week, they finally put the death nail on VHS, and I'm kind of sad. Okay guys, we did it. We talked about all this great stuff. It's been just a great week in entertainment. for DC Comics, for King Kong, for Justice League, for horror, all that stuff. And stay tuned because I am going to see Lights Out this weekend, and then I'll get a review out for that really quick. So anyway guys, like, subscribe, and comment. Join the Killer Flicks Facebook group where we talk horror 24/7. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Letterboxd, and Humdrum out.